I have this theory, kind of pedestrian theory, you know, but just that there's this hole in the center. So we have sort of, and if I'm thinking of like cinema of color in a way, but I'm also in a way perhaps speaking more specifically about African American cinema, but I feel like we kind of have over here and we have over here. There's sort of like a, you know, but in the center, there is this hole, and it's devoid of content. There are some people, like the dude who made Medicine for Melancholy, who are there. There are geniuses like Charles Burnett. I love Love and Basketball, for instance, because it satisfies like the 16-year-old in me. And I think it's beautiful and all about love. And so there are these really wonderful examples. The door gets sort of creaked open a little bit, and then a movie kind of slips through, and then, you know, another one at some point later on, and then, you know, and so on and so on. And I think that what happens is that the infrequent sort of nature of all of it doesn't help to kind of really grow anything. It is a rare occurrence to sort of see African Americans looked at in a varied and complicated and layered way.
I know it was hard for you when I left, but it wasn't my fault. I had to go, you understand that? And now, whose fault is it now?
This is my home. I have roots here.
You're living in the past, Patricia.
Things done changed, snitch. I'm in charge now.
For better or worse, I'm the kind of person that if you tell me no, it makes me bitter enough to say, okay, fine, I'm gonna show you that it can actually be yes. And I think that if I had kind of listened to all the no's that I heard, and there were many, then I sort of feel like I don't think I'd be here.
It's always great to work with a first-time director, you know, because you're dealing with somebody who is not jaded, they're not cynical about the process, they really believe in their vision, and nobody has told them that they're not going to make that vision happen, and they don't have an experience of having to compromise that vision. So it's really fun to support somebody with that sense of, I'm going to get this done.
I feel like the process of making this film was one of knowing exactly what I wanted when I went through the door, having a screenplay that I worked on forever, and you know, just sort of I got a lot of distance. I'd work on it 1 year and I wouldn't touch it for 6 months, 7 months, and I'd go back and shift one thing. But that process allowed me to know the world and allowed me to know the characters. It allowed me to have a very definitive sense of what it was supposed to be. And then I chose my collaborators well. Their voices came in, and the film evolved.
Go home, Dwayne. Call me that again. Go ahead, say it again. See what happens. You're not even gonna see it coming, snitch. One day the light's just gonna go out. Pop. Nobody's forgotten what you did to Neil.
And I think I'm really interested in small stories and finding a way to kind of tell small, very human stories. Story of a family, story of two brothers who hate each other, you know, any number of just really simple kind of kitchen sink dramas, but trying to find like a social or political context about the world. And so that it's a small story, but that the world has broader implications. I really love movies like that. These movies are hard to get made.
I told you I would handle that, right?
You think you can make him act nice when you want to? A kid like that with so much to prove? Iris is all you have. Nothing else should matter.
Stop trying to tell me how to raise my kid.
Then stop acting like Mother Teresa every time an orphan walks through the door.
It's great to work with a female director. It's great to work with a director who's a person of color. You know, it's great to work with somebody who's all of those things. It's really cool.
All other art forms are not dependent on massive amounts of financing. If I want to make a painting, I just need enough money to get a canvas together and some paint and some brushes. And chances are, if I'm really a painter, that's already existing in my life and being accumulated. And if I'm a musician, I can sing, it doesn't cost me anything. You know, and especially now, technologically, you can, you know, go do your thing. And if I'm a dancer or whatever, filmmaking is a difficult game because you have to have some resources to get it done. And then I think when you've gotten it done, you need some resources to get it distributed.
How long you been back?
Come on, Marcus. I'm not the enemy. In fact, I came here to tell you still got a friend.
There is money for these distribution companies, there's money to be made. It's wacky. And yet, in a way, it's not an audience that's well cultivated and that's well spoken to. This film is about a lot of different things, and I think that there are a lot of different ways for people to access this movie. And I think that, to me, is also something that I think is a bit rare. And I don't know why it's rare, because it's actually pretty pedestrian as well. You know, it's like whatever. But I don't think you get to see that as much, especially not with films that have an African-American cast, that speak of an African-American experience. I think that at the end of the day, it's also a film about a single mother. It's also a film about two people who fall in love and can they stay together. I think it's also a coming-of-age story. I think it's also a film that sort of embodies a political past. I think there are a lot of ways for a lot of different kinds of people to come through the door. And I think that that is something I'm especially proud of.
The dark brown shades of my skin only add color to my tears.
This is not the life you want to live.
I want more for both of us.
Anthony Mackie and Kerry Washington, with music by The Roots. Night catches us. Sometimes you can't go on until you go back.
Hi, my name is Tanya Hamilton, and you're watching Reelblack.